I'm going to break it down for you section by section, almost sentence by sentence, so you'll get a better idea of what's happening from a body language perspective. In fact, you'll know exactly what's happening.
We're sweat to death. Okay. Today is Saturday, March 1st, 2025.
This looks like a regular old normal beginning to a video when somebody sits down in a car and to start talking about something, right? No, this is all pre-show, and it's planned because this is probably the fourth or fifth shot at this she's taken making this video. She wants it to be authentic. She wants to seem like she's just talking and everything seems natural. It's the first time she's saying it. However, that's not what's going on here anyway. She's done this, I'm going to guess 4 or 5 times. This is the fourth, fifth shot she's taken at this. How do I know that, or what would make me think that? Because look how relaxed she is. Look at her hair. It's perfect. And look how she's already framed in the video just where she wants to be. We don't see her adjusting in there, not moving around, nothing. It looks like she is because she's got her hand up near the phone. But watch when she puts her hand up on the steering wheel. We can see that tattoo. I'm going to tell you what that tattoo says here in a little while because I reversed it. We'll take a look at it. So this is the pre-show you're seeing here. This isn't real.
We're sweat to death. Today is Saturday, March 1st, 2025. This is my first of probably many recordings on a series that I'm starting.
Interesting. So she says this is the first of probably many videos that she's starting for her little series she's starting, right?
First of probably many recordings on a series that I'm starting.
Probably? Well, understand that her history lets us know that it's a little iffy. So she's not sure that people will accept her. So it makes sense that she says probably because she doesn't know, right? Another thing, let's check out her illustrators. Her illustrators are off. They're not happening when they should. Illustrators are the way your brain emphasizes specific words and phrases, like I did just then, specific words and phrases. And hers are off. When illustrators don't land on the words, they land before or after, or when you're talking, they keep going. After that, something's up. That suggests that you've got inner dialogue going on up here, right? You're thinking about what's going to happen and what you're going to say. She could be restructuring her sentences. And it also suggests that there's not a lot of confidence with that. So, which makes sense as well, because she's probably going to be doing many recordings. So I thought this was fairly interesting.
This is my first of probably many recordings on a series that I'm starting. I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself.
All right, she says, I'm an advocate. I'm a researcher. Listen to how she says researcher.
I am a researcher.
Boy, the power comes out of her speaking voice there.
I am a researcher.
Because again, she's not really sure about what she's going to be doing in the future with this. And she's not confident with being a researcher yet. She may have been researching out the wazoo for months and years. Who knows? But I don't think her confidence is really up right there because of the way the word sounds. Listen to how it kind of dies down toward the end. It's not quite fading facts.
I am a researcher.
Fading facts being when someone's not being honest or they're really not confident with what they're saying. As they speak, their words will get quieter and quieter as they go. So it's not quite fading facts, but it's close.
I am a researcher. I am a researcher. I am a researcher.
So I think she lacks confidence in that sentence.
And in this capacity,
So here's the word capacity.
And in this capacity,
We hear that a lot in here. And we hear the word advocate a lot. She's going to advocate for herself and other people, apparently, but she sure says a lot.
I am a legal advocate. In this capacity, as a legal advocate, to advocate for myself.
Pretty much you need to say it one time. She says capacity a lot in this too, so pay attention to that. One more thing to pay attention to is almost every sentence she finishes, she looks away. And then she looks back and starts talking again. That lets us know that she's been rehearsing this because she's looking away to think about what she said. Let's talk about eye movement since I'm talking about her looking away. 99.9% of the time, eye movement doesn't mean squat, in my opinion, because there are no studies that show that. There are other people that say, oh, it definitely means this, this, and this. And when I see them do it, it sure looks like it does. And it probably does mean some of those things. I don't believe it means for sure someone's lying when they look down to the left or being honest when they look up to the right or wherever that thing is. But sometimes there are some things that could be true about it. I don't know because there are no studies on it. And all my stuff, everything I talk to you about or anybody else about has to come from the scientific study of that or paper or something, not just hearsay. And I've been doing it myself in my experience. If I ever have something that I tell you about that's just from my experience, I'll say in my experience, I've seen this, this, and this. But unless it's has a scientific study, 3 or 4 of them behind it, I'm not going to tell you that it's true or suggest you lean on that. Anyway, back to Casey. So let's take a look at her illustrators again here as well. They're not on point. They're not landing where they should. Some do, but not all of them do.
I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself. For those of you who don't know, my name is Casey Anthony. My daughter is Kaylee Anthony. My parents are George and Cindy Anthony. This is not about them. This is not in response to anything that they have said or done. That's not to say that I'm not going to respond at some point to some of the things that they have said and done. The whole point of this is for me to begin to reintroduce myself.
All right, this is her purpose statement and her reintroduction to the world. In the last video, when she was talking, that was her resume statement. So she's telling us about all of her skills, all of her new skills for the new me that she's presenting to the world.
I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself.
And in this one, she's saying, okay, here's my name, here's what I do, here's a little bit about my past, and here's why I'm going forward. It's her purpose statement and the reason that she's doing what she's doing with this.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Casey Anthony. My daughter is Kaylee Anthony. My parents are George and Cindy Anthony. The whole point of this is for me to begin to reintroduce myself.
So all that seems fairly confident to me anyway. So I don't think there's lack of confidence in there. It seems pretty normal. You should land on. Everything looks as it should here.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Casey Anthony. My daughter is Kaylee Anthony. My parents are George and Cindy Anthony. This is not about them. This is not in response to anything that they have said or done. That's not to say that I'm not going to respond at some point to some of the things that they have said and done. The whole point of this is for me to begin to reintroduce myself. I'm doing this both personally for me, but in a professional capacity. Moving forward, the majority of what you will see will be me speaking in a professional capacity.
Capacity. She loves that word.
Capacity.
She basically just said the same thing twice. So I think while we're seeing that lips pursed at the end, when someone purses their lips, that suggests that they don't agree with what's happened. They're not into what's happening, what they've seen, or what they've been presented with. When your lips are pursed to the side like this, that lets us know, or that suggests, that the person sees an alternate ending or alternate outcome to that situation or event. You see bowlers do it a lot when they're bowling and the ball starts to go the wrong way. They'll go. Golfers do it sometimes. Somebody who's throwing something in the garbage can, be it a can or a piece of paper or whatever, and it starts going too far one way, it's going, because they see an alternate outcome to what's actually happening. So right here, I think she feels kind of weird about repeating that sentence twice. She had the idea, but this part, if she did rehearse it earlier, it didn't come out the way she wanted it to.
I'm doing this both personally for me, but in a professional capacity. Moving forward, the majority of what you will see will be me speaking in a professional capacity. So with that, please join me on Substack. If you have questions, I will set up an email address where we can correspond directly. Up until this point, that has never happened. And it's only going to be on a limited basis regarding legal issues, legal matters.
This is way out of her vernacular. She's using words like correspond and everything like that, which is fine because it's the new her. It's the new me that she's showing us, right? So that's okay. You'd probably do it too, and I probably would too. And it just feels odd seeing somebody do that. She's not that comfortable doing it. Now, she's also trying to sell something here. She's trying to sell her Substack subscriptions.
Please join me on Substack. If you have questions, I will set up an email address where we can correspond directly.
which is understandable. That's what probably happened when she got, as she's gone over the years and said, I really have learned a lot about the legal system, and I think I can probably make some money knowing this, but how would I do it? And with the way things are these days with social media and being able to sell things digitally, she figured out she could do it with Substack, which is probably a good idea. So I think that's fairly interesting what she's what she's doing. But this is basically the first part of a sales pitch that we're going to see. So let's watch the next one.
So with that, please join me on Substack. If you have questions, I will set up an email address where we can correspond directly. Up until this point, that has never happened. And it's only going to be on a limited basis regarding legal issues, legal matters. My goal is to continue to help give a voice to people, to give people tools and resources that they can utilize so they actually know where they can turn to.
This is the most confident she's been so far. She's telling us about the tools and resources she's going to be providing. So it makes sense she'd be fairly confident with this because, like I said before, this probably goes back to when she first decided she could make money somehow off of knowing all this stuff and found Substack. I'd say that's what that's about. That's what the confidence is about, because she really feels like she knows a lot, and I'm sure she does know a lot about being an advocate in the legal system, not the legal field. Big difference in the legal field and the legal system. Knowing about those two. So I mean, riding that line of pretending like you know as much as an attorney does, even though you're not an attorney, oof, that's kind of rough. And I get the feeling that's what might be happening here. Could be wrong, could be totally wrong, but that's what it kind of sounds like to me. She's sort of overplaying it. But here, she's really confident. Her illustrators are landing where they should. No differences in voice, tone, and volume or cadence. That's how fast she speaks, the speed she speaks. That's pretty much stayed solid. Her blink rate is, throughout this thing, it's about 60 blinks per minute, which is a lot because usually we blink between 15 and 20 blinks a minute, and hers is up a little bit, which is understandable because, again, she's, coming out of not hiding, but she's coming out to the public on TikTok and Instagram and going, hey, look at me. Here's the new me. Here's what I'm doing, and trying to sell something. So I get it.
My goal is to continue to help give a voice to people, to give people tools and resources that they can utilize so they actually know where they can turn to. One of the main reasons that I'm doing this, there are people close to me who have been targeted and attacked recently. There are also people close to me who have had some recent things occur. And when necessary, people needed to step up, myself included. So
this one has a fantastic example of a micro expression. Did you see it? It's on the word things.
There are also people close to me who have had some recent things occur. Some recent things.
This might be one of the things that triggered her to do this new thing she's doing as well, because maybe something happened to a friend of hers. These things that have happened to one of her friends. Maybe she said, you know what, I can help you with that. Here's what you should do. And maybe that's when it dawned on her that she could, maybe make some money with the things she's learned. So that's a great example of a micro expression. And that micro expression is contempt, that just one part of the face going up right there. And when you see that, that means, it means contempt. There's really no two ways about it. She doesn't like the whatever the things were that happened made her mad. So she's not into it. So I think it's a great example of a micro expression.
One of the main reasons that I'm doing this, there are people close to me who have been targeted and attacked recently. There are also people close to me who have had some recent things occur. And when necessary, people needed to step up, myself included. So as a proponent for the LGBTQ community, for our legal community, women's rights.
Okay, here are her lips pursed to the side again, that little thing right there. I think that sentence didn't turn out the way she wanted it to, so because she says, as a proponent for the LGBT community or legal community, Then she just says women's rights after that.
As a proponent for the LGBTQ community, for our legal community, women's rights.
So I'm sure she had a sentence that was planned. She had planned to say before that. It didn't come out right, but she's been doing pretty good up to this point. That's why I think she's done 4 or 5 of these before, because she's gotten along fairly well in this one up to this point. So she doesn't have to stop. She wants to keep going, and she's trying to decide whether that sentence works or not. That's my impression. That's what it looks like to me. So it looks a little bit iffy there, but I don't think she's lying about anything, being deceptive or anything. I think she's just not sure about her answer, not confident with it. Oh, wait, that's not an answer. Not confident with her statement.
As a proponent for the LGBTQ community, for our legal community, women's rights, I feel that it's important that I use this platform that was thrust upon me and now look at as a blessing as opposed to the curse that it has been since 2008.
The platform that has been thrust upon me. What is she, like some kind of a Greek philosopher or a king or something like that? Or a queen, this platform that has been thrust upon me. Come on, man.
I use this platform that was thrust upon me. With that, these aren't going to be perfect. They're not going to be edited. Most of the time, they're not going to be short. But I am proverbially standing in the light, embracing this piece, still going to keep my privacy intact. So you will get very comfortable with my car. And I will explain in great detail why it's so important for people to protect their privacy. It's not just important to public figures, it's even more important to private individuals. And with the current climate in our country especially, it's that much more important, which is why I am utilizing the Substack platform. Yes, I am advertising this and publishing this on TikTok, possibly also through other meta platforms, but my intention is to separate from that and showcase even more why Substack is such an important resource for people to utilize moving forward.
And this is just a sales pitch for Substack again, which I get it. She's trying to sell her Substack stuff. So I don't know, man. Let's move on.
Anyway, I appreciate your time, and we'll see how this goes.
All right, here's the end of it. So you see at the very end how she makes it so you can see her tattoo really well. She takes her arm up and it's like right there in the way. You know what that says? You want to see? Love wins. Yeah, man. So, but I guess you got to have something positive to say or something positive that other people can see.
Anyway, I appreciate your time, and we'll see how this goes.
All right. There you have it. I think that's a great example of somebody trying to be authentic and show authenticity and tell us what they're into and what they're doing these days. It's the new me video. I'm not so sure I feel good about it, me personally. How do you feel about it? What do you think? There's a lot of people out there that aren't sure, to say the least. And but which makes sense. Somebody with a history like that,